ideal family and the kingdom of the peaceful ideal world too. Such families contain the living root of history and are represented by the grandparents, parents, and children. The root of the past represents the spiritual world. The root of the present is the palace representing the world today. And the root of the future establishes sons and daughters as princes and princesses. By establishing such a families, we are erecting the palace of peace, representing the harmony of the two worlds, the spiritual world and physical world. In this manner, the three generations of grandparents, parents, and children should live together as one family and serve the eternal God. God desires to see such families, and it is your responsibility as a tribal messiahs and ambassador for peace to seek after and establish them families of the Chonil, the kingdom of God. What did True Mother say was God's desire? Is for three generations to live together as one family and serve the eternal God and seek after established families of the Chonil group. Have you ever thought in your heart that three generations need to live together? Our path of faith is a path we go on establishing a will and vision. Please believe that if you establish a will and vision, great works will take place according to the establishment of that will and vision. My brothers and sisters, try living with the vision of creating the palace of love and peace where three generations live together. God-centered dreams will surely come true. According to my experience, when I was young, since I learned divine principle clearly, Heavenly Father, I want to have, that kind of vision and creating the palace of love and peace where three generations live together. That was my dream, very strong. And my wife agreed with me. And then finally, my dream came true. All generations living together. If I don't have that kind of vision and goal, it will never happen. That's why vision is very important. Whenever you set up the vision, set up a clear goal centered on God's will, your dream definitely will come true. Why your dream do not come true? Because you don't have that kind of clear vision and goal. The God's vision is really amazing. God's dream is really amazing. I am telling you again, my brothers and sisters, many young people now listening our morning devotion. God-centered dreams and vision will surely come true. That's why when you raise up your children, you need to think that not just only second generation, third generation keeping purity until seventh generation, eighth generation. Let them keep the purity. You have the clear vision and goal. Set up the goal and vision. And then, the vision really works. And then can create that kind of environment already. Your mindset is like that. Your vision is like that. Your dream is like that. Really, environment already start to settle down according to your vision and idea. That's why vision is very, very powerful. You're not so serious about raising your children. You're not so serious in your children to receive blessing. Then your dream never will come true. That's why as a parents, as a blessed couple, you need to have a clear vision and goal. Not just only setting up clear goal and vision, you need to pay the price. In order to come to your vision and dream, you need to pay the price. This is very important. Without paying the price, your vision never come true. Everybody can have vision, everybody can have dream, but why my vision that do not come true? Because do not pay the price. Okay? No pain, no gain. To gain, you need to go through you need to pay the price.
without sacrificing, without clear vision, you cannot get the result. How can things work out if I don't even have an interest or dreams? Even if you are in a circumstances where you cannot live together as 3 generations, you need to maintain artistic relationship by visiting grandparents and parents often. So, okay, my environment is not easy. And in Western society, even now, Korean society, in Japanese society, not easy to get along 3 generations together. So in such kind of situation, then why don't you visit to your grandparents or your parents often? You need to have that kind of artistic relationship for your children. This time I really thank God I spent time with my 5 grandchildren. Wow. Can you imagine that? Just 1 month baby, the other one 4 or 5 months baby, and then the other one 4 or 5 years, 2 grandchild, the other one is 7 years old. Wow, so noisy. This time I spent a lot of my time to take care of grandchildren, carry on baby, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then wow, not simple. I think even though my job is very much busier, content director job is much easier than taking care of 5 grandchildren. I really appreciate my wife. She doesn't have any her own free time at all. Wow, can you imagine that? 5 grandchildren in just one family? How much busier? It's not only that, we have one more big baby. Our father-in-law getting old, and now a little bit more difficult now, going to be 90 years old. Can you imagine that? Not simple one. But even though it is not simple job, but I feel that great happiness. Great happiness. Next one, living divine principle. Human history is the history of the providence of restoration. 3, centering on trends in the history of conflict. Let's study.
Trends in the history of conflict. 3rd, examining trends
beyond the standard of the servants. But standard of adopted children cannot come under the God's direct dominion. The difference between the adopted children and children of direct lineage is whether or not they come under God's direct dominion. If Christianity has attained the portion of God's children of the direct lineage, after going through the relationship of adopted children, God would have directly dominated Christians according to the laws of heart. If Christianity had accomplished that after Jesus, it would have gone through the course of the pioneering without too many sacrifices. But to be in the position of the children of direct lineage beyond the bone of the adopted children, you must meet the true parents at the set condition to receive the blessing and clear original sin. The Old Testament age was the standard of a servant, and the New Testament age was the standard of the adopted children. But if Jesus had realized a family through the marriage supper of the Lamb, all believers after Jesus would have attained the position of God's children of direct lineage. The difference between adopted children and children of direct lineage is the blood lineage. Adopted children were born from parents of the different blood lineage, right? But direct lineage means that your blood lineage came from your own parents. Children of direct lineage of the follow the law of God's heart. The reason true parents established heavenly tribal Messiah was for us, blessed family, to represent true parents and change the blood lineage of our tribe and make them into true children. My brothers and sisters, blessing, the meaning of the blessing is incredible. Anyone wish the blessing? What's the meaning of the blessing? Your blood lineage become God's direct blood lineage. No more adopted child blood lineage. This is really incredible. Blessing means what? Your blood lineage become God's direct blood lineage. So adopted child means not yet enter the God's direct dominion. Who can enter the God's direct dominion? Based upon the God's direct blood lineage. If you receive blessing, God allow you to eat the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Eat the fruit, but under the God's indirect dominion. Under the God's indirect dominion, you cannot eat the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. You cannot. That's why, in order to enter God's kingdom of heaven, you need to have a qualification to become God's direct children through the blessing. The problem is, even though we receive the blessing, our position is God's direct blood lineage, God's direct child. However, in terms of our heart and mindset, still not yet. Our heart is not yet reached the level God's direct child. That's why even though externally we are God's direct lineage, but internally the level of our spirit is still very far. That's why blessing is a conditional blessing. If you fulfill your portion of responsibility, and externally and internally, you really can enter the kingdom of heaven. My brothers and sisters, do you understand what I'm talking about? Even though you receive blessing, your level still under the formation stage. Someone in the formation stage, someone at the growth stage, someone already beyond the top of the growth stage, different kind of the level. So, because of the blessing, top of the growth stage, surely enter. However, you need to wait. Your spirit not yet reached that level, right? Conditional blessing could not meet his children of direct lineage since the fall of Adam and Eve. And even though Jesus came since he left without God, having been able to fulfill his will, he left behind only the relationship of the adopted children left on earth. The 2,000 years history centered on Christianity after Jesus died was ultimately to find and establish true children of God's direct lineage. Then, what are Christians who are spreading widely across the world today required to do? Christians must be directly engrafted to the true parents whom God loves, and be born again from the lineage of adopted children to God's direct lineage. My brothers and sisters, the last days is the age when we graduate from the stage of adopted children and enter the stage of direct God's children. Today's youth ministry, the meaning of the faith and obedience. This song is very much meaningful, and based on this holy song, today I'd like to talk about, right? So, my offering. 나 이제 알겠네, 나 정녕 알겠네. 재단 꾸며 준비하고. You already know that melody, right? So let's read first the content of the Holy Song 10, My Offering.
Now I know your blessed grace, for you raised me from the darkness and gave to me new life. I live and stand before you, but now you cry again. My Father has to say to me, go and die now in my place. Now pledging I will go, determined I will go. Father, now I'm changing to your way. For no other will I follow, but go my Father's way. Upon your waiting altar, I kneel without a word. My life shall be the sacrifice. I will faithfully obey.
Yes, based on this holy song, can my offering
Means, I am my Father's. The lesson that this holy song shows is that I come to know that not even 1% of my existence is mine, but that I am my Father's offering. In this holy song, blessed grace that gave to me new life means that when I realize that I come from my Father, I will have new life. I will realize, oh, I am not me. I belong to God. Until now, I did not know who I was, but I must become the Father's child. I will have new life when I realize this. To this day, we have been living without knowing who we are. Because of that, we fail to realize the value of how precious we are.
Yes, to the Father. When Abraham offered his son Isaac as a sacrifice, his mindset and thought was that Isaac is not his own child, but that he belongs to God. That's why he was able to offer Isaac as a sacrifice. The reason Isaac also did not resist his father when he was placed on altar, but absolutely obeyed, was because he thought of himself as his father's offering and God's offering. An offering can never assert belonging to itself. An offering is leaving everything 100% to the owner. What we learn through this holy song is that we cannot claim that even 1% of our existence is our own, but that we are completely Heavenly Father's offering. In this holy song, the part blessed grace that gave to me new life means that when I realize that I come from my Father, I will be changed to having new life. It means that if I treat myself as a Father's belonging, I will be born again and have a new life. Life of faith begins from the moment we realize that we belong to God. We belong to Heavenly Parents. We cannot be resurrected or grow without realizing this. Until now, I did not know who I was. But when we realize I must become the Father's child, new life will begin. To this day, we have been living without knowing who we are. Because of that, we fail to realize the value of how precious we are. Next.
Now I have come to know.
We realize that we belong to our Father. First, we will shed tears of gratitude and deep emotions, knowing that we belong to God the Father. Secondly, when we have gratitude and deep emotions, we receive the great grace of the being born with a new life. Everything is new, and you will experience a new heaven and new earth. But if you just conceptually think of yourself as belonging to God, there will be no change in your life. So try really treat yourself as God. This is very important. Really treat yourself as God, God's belonging, God's child. Your view of life and values will completely change. You will become someone completely centered on God and naturally deny yourself. The third grace we receive are the tears of gratitude upon realizing how hard God has worked behind the scenes until we grow and the heart of the filial piety fulfill filial duty to God and coming from our Shik Yong. In this holy song, it says, I live and stand before you, but now you cry again. Why does God cry? We need to know that this is because God has the honest request to do not think that you are you, but think of yourself as mine from now on. Now praising I will go, determine I will go. Father, now I am changing to your way. This means that after realizing ourselves as belonging to God, we make the determination to follow our Father with the heart of absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience to the true parents. My brothers and sisters, what does faith means? What is faith? Faith means treat myself as God's belonging. If you really treat yourself as God's belonging, completely change your mindset. And you can see new heaven and new earth. Wow, I belong to God. God is my Father. You know, I'm child of God. Then really your mindset is completely changed. Why you cannot change, even though you say, I belong to God, I belong to God, I'm child of God, but actually you do not believe in that. You know, faith means treat myself as God's belonging. If you really treat yourself as God's belonging, how can you worry so much? How can you have so much negative thinking? Why you complain a lot? Why blame people? Why you are jealous? This means you do not treat yourself as God's belonging. If you treat yourself really God's belonging, you cannot complain. You cannot blame anyone. You cannot judge people so simply. That's why if you really believe you are God's belonging and treat yourself as God's belonging, and really you practice, I am telling you, you can have incredible and beautiful experience. Already your life of faith is what? So much gratitude. So much happy about. It's a very important point, to become offering, okay? Why we have to become God's offering. We need to know that we are God's offering. We cannot insist on our own opinion, cannot assert my own opinion, because I belong to God. I belong to God's offering. Next.
The meaning of faith and obedience. Upon your waiting altar, I kneel without a word. This means that after knowing
altar, I kneel without a word. Kneeling on the prepared altar is only possible when we have the faith of believing in ourselves as fathers. Secondly, once we believe that we belong to Father, absolute obedience will surely follow. That's why faith is to believe in ourselves as belonging to Father and obeying. It does not become obedience without it coming from within my heart. That is my 심정. Obedience should not have only an appearance. It must come from our 심정 for us to obey Father with joy, with joy. No one can forcefully obey. Next.
what is obedience? What is obedience? Obedience is not obeying just because it is heaven's command, but the voluntary mind that comes from the heart. Therefore, our life of faith must come from the heart. We cannot just do so out of obligation or unwillingly. Even when cooking meals, it must come from the heart. Even when we are hungry, we should not eat because we are hungry. Even when going to work, we do not go to earn money to make a living. Even when going to church or attending Sunday service, do not go out of a sense of duty. We must fix our mindset so that it wells from the heart. That is an obedient lifestyle. Actions we do that do not come from the heart are not acts of obedience.
Yeah, this is very important. When we talk about obedience is a voluntary action of being determined to take responsibility for Heavenly Parent's will while following Him. Obedience out of the mere formality and obedience by force will someday rebel and strike. Among the attributes of the obedience, the most representative attribute is a joyful and voluntary mind. So if there is no joy or voluntary mind, that is not obedience. Obedience is not obeying just because it is heaven's command, but the spontaneous mind that comes from the heart. Therefore, our life of faith must always be voluntary and come from the heart. We cannot just practice a life of faith out of obligation or unwillingly. Whatever the task, if we obey out of a force or out of a mere formality, it is just a waste of time. And know that you will surely pay indemnity for things you do without it voluntarily coming from the heart. But things you do with joy and happiness and gratitude do not have any indemnity. A voluntary heart coming out, that itself is already what? Already victory. That's why we need to do everything with a voluntary heart. Even when cooking meals, it must come from the heart. And even when going to the work, we do not go to the own money to make a living, but think that we should go multiply to learn. Even when we go into the church or attending Sunday service, do not go out of the sense of the duty, but we should go because we long for it and miss the people. We must fix our mindset so that it wells from the heart. That is the obedient lifestyle. Actions we do that do not come from the heart are not acts of obedience. Many people do not understand real meaning of obedience, right? Just obey. Even though you don't like or like, does not matter. Just obey. That is obedience. Obedience, one of the great attributes of obedience, what? There is a joy. There is joy. And a volunteer heart. There is no joy, no volunteer heart, no obedience. Even though externally you bow down, but internally not yet bow down. And someday, definitely, you become rebellious person. We need to understand that point. Very important. Isaac, wow, I really respect Isaac. How he become offering. There's no volunteer heart, right? Then he could not become the offering. My brothers and sisters, today we learn very important what is the obedience, right? Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Young, for such a powerful message for today. Now, on to our testimony. We have Reverend Hughes Takisaka, the pastor of the Chicago Family Church.